You think you're free, but you continue to obey. Every morning, you wake up and make choices that seem to be your own, yet they have already been determined by others. You choose the coffee you drink, the clothes you wear, the opinions you express. But these choices come from a pre-approved menu, a selection of options that someone has written for you. And the worst part? You've convinced yourself that this is freedom. Sartre already warned about this trap. He said that freedom is what you do with what was done to you, not what was done to you. It's what you do with it. But for most people, freedom has become an empty word, a slogan they repeat while living exactly as everyone expects. You feel free because you can choose between Netflix or Amazon Prime. Free because you can vote for A or B. Free because you can express your opinion as long as it doesn't bother any important person. But that's not freedom. It's disguised obedience. It's subtle control. It's the most effective prison ever devised, one where the prisoner believes he is free. Here you will understand how this illusion has caged you and how Sartre might be the key to breaking these invisible bars. Because true freedom isn't comfortable, it isn't secure, and it certainly isn't approved by those who seek to control you. If you've ever felt that your choices aren't truly yours, comment below. When was the last time you did something you genuinely wanted to do, even knowing others wouldn't approve? And if this video reminds you of someone living in this illusion, share it. They need to wake up. Modern freedom is a perfect simulation. It seems real, sounds good, but it's false. You choose, but within a menu others have written. You decide, but only among pre-approved options. You express yourself, but using words that won't upset the system. It's like a modern zoo. The cages are beautiful, spacious, full of entertainment. The animal feels free to walk, play, rest. But it can't leave. It can't choose where to go. It can't decide how to live. And worst of all, over time, it forgets there's a world beyond those golden bars. You live this way. You choose between Samsung or iPhone, as if that were freedom. Decide whether to work for company A or B, as if that defined your independence. Express your opinions on social media, but only those that won't make you lose followers or cause trouble. You negotiate within a prison and call it free negotiation. Sartre would question, who is truly making the decisions? Because when you analyze your major choices, you realize that the majority of them were influenced by fear. Fear of not being accepted, fear of disappointing others, fear of appearing different. Fear of taking full responsibility for your life. And that's where the danger lies. You think you are in control, but in reality you are being controlled. You believe you are thinking for yourself, but you are actually thinking with other people's minds. Your choices go through an invisible filter. What will others think? Will this harm me socially? Is this what a man like me should do? This filter has become your prison, and you don't even realize you're confined. Sartre had a brutal concept for this: bad faith. It's not just lying to others, it's lying to yourself. It's convincing yourself that you chose something when, in fact, you merely went with the flow. It's believing you're being authentic when you're only playing a role scripted by others. Bad faith is when you say, I chose this career, knowing you did so because of familial pressure. It's when you declare, I decided to get married, knowing you did so because it was expected. It's when you assert, this is how I think, knowing you think so because it's safe to think that way. Technically, you're not lying. You genuinely made a choice. You truly decided. You genuinely think. The problem is that these actions were filtered through acceptance. They were shaped by the fear of rejection. They were conditioned by the need for approval. And bad faith convinces you that this is normal. It makes you believe that freedom is precisely that, making choices that bother no one. Choosing within what's permitted, deciding within what's acceptable, living within what's expected. But Sartre knew this is self-deception. Because when you choose based on what others expect, you're not really choosing, you're obeying. And obedience has never been freedom, even when it masquerades as autonomy. Bad faith is comfortable. It spares you the burden of taking full responsibility for your choices. Because if you're following what's expected, if something goes wrong, the blame isn't entirely yours. You can always say, I did what everyone else would do. I followed protocol. I acted like any sensible person would, but this protection comes at a cost. You stop being yourself. You become a well-behaved copy of a socially approved model. If any part of this video has made you question your own choices, tag that moment in the comments. That's where consciousness begins to awaken. And if it's resonated with you so far, leave a like, not for me, but for yourself. True freedom is a burden. It's not comfortable, it's not safe, and it definitely isn't popular. Because choosing for yourself means breaking external expectations. It means disappointing people you value. It means taking risks that could harm you socially, professionally, emotionally. Sartre understood this. He knew that authentic freedom is a heavy load. It's the full responsibility for your existence. It's looking at your life and declaring, "This is all me, my choices, my consequences, my responsibility." No excuses, no justifications, no shifting blame. That terrifies most people. It's easier to live in a fantasy of freedom than to embrace true liberty. Because real freedom requires courage. It demands that you disappoint others. It demands losing approval. It demands taking risks that could cost you relationships, opportunities, status. But it's within this discomfort that authenticity is born. It's in the tension between what you truly want and what others expect of you that you discover who you really are. It's in the courage to go against the current that you forge an identity that is genuinely yours. True freedom isn't doing whatever you want, it's doing what you choose, accepting all the consequences. It's having the courage to be rejected for being authentic. It's preferring the solitude of truth over the company of lies. And that demands a painful transformation. You need to stop seeking approval. You must accept that some people will judge, criticize, abandon you. You have to acknowledge that your choices might come at a high cost. But you also need to realize that this is the only way to live a life that is truly your own. A comfort zone isn't freedom, it's just a padded cell. Pretty, secure, predictable, but still a cell. You can move within it, even decorate it your way, but you can't leave. You can't explore unknown territories. You can't discover who you truly are when no one's watching. Sartre would say that man ensnares himself when he abandons the risk of true choice, when he prefers the safety of obedience over the uncertainty of freedom, when he trades the possibility of being authentic for the guarantee of acceptance. The comfort zone offers you an agreement. Stay here, follow the rules, cause no trouble, and we will provide you with security, approval, and predictability. Most men accept this deal without even reading the fine print, unaware that they are signing a contract for voluntary imprisonment. You stay in the same job you despise because it's safe. Maintain relationships that drain you because it's comfortable. Express opinions that aren't truly yours because you're accepted. Live a life you didn't choose because it's what's expected. And the system loves this. It loves predictable, controllable men who are content with the illusion of freedom. Men who believe they are in control because they can choose between 50 TV channels or 20 flavors of ice cream. Men who confuse variety with liberty. But freedom isn't having many options. It's having the courage to create your own. It's not needing a pre-approved menu. It's taking responsibility to craft your own story, even if it doesn't have a guaranteed happy ending. Freedom is living in a constant tension between what you feel and what the world demands from you. It's waking up every day, knowing you can choose differently, even if that choice comes at a high cost. Imagine a 35-year-old man, married with 2 children, a stable career. On the outside, he has everything. Inside, he feels hollow. Did he choose this life, or did he merely follow the script handed to him at 18? House, job, family, retirement, death, the complete package of a socially approved life. One day, he questions everything. He questions whether he truly loves his wife or just married her because it was expected. He questions if he enjoys his work or if he works merely to sustain the image of success. He questions whether he is happy or has simply learned to pretend happiness. This is the moment of truth. He can continue pretending everything is fine, that he chose all this, that this is the life he wanted. Or he can admit that he lives in a gilded cage and begin planning an escape. The first option is easier, safer, more accepted. The second is brutal. It may cost relationships, money, status. It may make him seem ungrateful, irresponsible, selfish. But the second is the only path to genuine freedom. The first only offers the comfort of illusion. And you? Are you living the life you chose or the life you accepted? Are you following your values or the values imposed on you? Are you being true to yourself or a sanctioned version of yourself? These questions hurt, because honest self-reflection often reveals that you are more confined than you care to admit. Sartre offers a brutal truth. Take full responsibility for your life. Cease blaming circumstances, people, or systems. You are where you are because you chose to be. Even when you did not consciously choose, you still chose not to choose consciously. This is not cruelty, it is liberation. Because if you are responsible for your current state, you also possess the power to choose otherwise. If your decisions have brought you here, other choices can lead you elsewhere. But this freedom comes at a cost. You can no longer play the victim. You cannot blame others for your unhappiness. You can no longer expect someone else to save you. You are solely responsible for your salvation. And that can be frightening, because it's easier to be a victim of circumstances than to be the author of your choices. It's more comfortable to blame the system than to acknowledge your complicity in your own confinement. But when you assume this total responsibility, something shifts. You cease waiting for permission to live. You stop seeking approval for your decisions. You stop negotiating your authenticity for acceptance. You become free, truly free, not free to do anything without consequences, but free to choose your consequences, free to take the risks of being yourself, free to disappoint those who need to be disappointed. The illusion of freedom is more dangerous than overt captivity because when you know you're imprisoned, you can plan an escape. When you believe you're free, you don't even attempt to escape. The system doesn't need to imprison you physically. It convinces you that you are already free. It offers superficial options and lets you choose among them. It makes you feel in control while subtly controlling you. It's brilliant, it's efficient, and it's invisible. You vote, but only among pre-selected candidates. You consume, but only pre-approved products. You express yourself, but only within the bounds of political correctness. You protest, but only in ways that don't truly threaten the system. And you call this freedom because you were taught to call it that. But Sartre knew that real freedom is dangerous to the system and to you. Because truly free men are unpredictable. They do not follow scripts. They are not satisfied with preset menus. They create their own rules, even if that puts them in conflict with the world. The system loves the free who obey without realizing it. Those who rebel within permissible limits. Those who question only the questions that can be questioned. Those who fight solely for causes that have already been approved for struggle. These are the perfect slaves, those who believe they are free. Now tell me, are you still going to try to convince yourself that you are free? Or have you already understood that you are in a gilded prison? Will you continue choosing from the menu others have written, or will you have the courage to create your own options? Write this in the comments. It is your contract of rupture with illusion. Freedom is not comfortable. It is not safe. It is not approved. But it is yours. If you have the courage to take it. If you have the courage to assume full responsibility for your life. If you have the courage to disappoint those who need to be disappointed. You are not free while your choices still depend on others' perceptions. While you bargain your authenticity in exchange for approval. While you live the life others expected you to live. Freedom is what you make of what they did to you, not what they did, what you do from now on. And if you want to keep hearing truths that no one else will dare to tell you, subscribe. Here, illusion cannot survive. Here you discover what it truly means to be free, even if it hurts.